5 signs that you are close to passing your hardest spiritual tests. There comes a time in every spiritual journey when the weight of the universe seems to press down on us, testing our resilience, our faith, and our very existence. It's in these moments that we feel like we are walking through fire, uncertain if we will emerge stronger or be consumed by the flames. You might be experiencing this right now, feeling lost, overwhelmed, or questioning everything you once believed. But what if I told you that these feelings aren't signs of failure, but rather proof that you are on the brink of something extraordinary? What if the suffering, the doubt, and the chaos are actually indicators that you are about to pass your hardest spiritual test? Think about this. Every great transformation in history, whether of individuals, societies, or even nature, has been preceded by intense resistance. A caterpillar doesn't gently become a butterfly, it dissolves into chaos, completely breaking down before emerging as something new. The same applies to us. Our greatest spiritual breakthroughs often come disguised as our hardest struggles. But how do you know when you are close to passing these tests? How do you recognize the signs that you are near the other side of the storm?
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
The first sign is that everything seems to be falling apart. We often mistake destruction for failure, but in reality, it's a necessary part of growth. Imagine a seed buried in the soil. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening, but inside, the seed is breaking apart, its shell cracking open to allow new life to emerge. If the seed resisted this process, it would never sprout. The same is happening to you. The universe is stripping away everything that no longer serves you. Not to punish you, but to prepare you. Old relationships may be crumbling, jobs may be disappearing, beliefs you once held tightly may no longer make sense. It feels like chaos, but in reality, it's divine order. The discomfort you feel is the necessary breaking apart of your old self so that your higher self can emerge. The second sign is that you are experiencing intense emotional turmoil. Many people believe that spiritual growth should feel peaceful, but the truth is that it often feels like an emotional storm. Old wounds resurface, fears you thought you had conquered return, and emotions become overwhelming. This is not a setback, it's a purge. Your soul is shedding layers of pain, trauma, and limiting beliefs that have kept you stuck for years. It's like cleaning out a cluttered attic. Things have to get messier before they can get better. If you are feeling deep sadness, frustration, or even rage, know that these emotions are rising to the surface because they are ready to be released. You are not regressing, you are healing. But here's the key. Do not resist the emotions. Allow yourself to feel them fully, to sit with them, to understand them. When you stop running from your pain, it loses its power over you. The third sign is the feeling of extreme loneliness or isolation. This is one of the hardest parts of the journey because it makes us question everything. Why does it feel like no one understands us? Why do old friends drift away? Why does solitude seem to be our only companion? This happens because deep transformation requires space. When a snake sheds its skin, it often hides away, becoming vulnerable in the process. When a phoenix burns, it does so alone. Your isolation is not a punishment, it is preparation. The universe is creating space for the new people, opportunities, and wisdom that will align with your higher self. If you are feeling alone, use this time to go inward. The answers you seek are not outside of you, they are within. Now, let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly sat with yourself, without distractions, without seeking validation from the outside world? Could it be that you have been so focused on external connections that you have neglected the most important relationship of all, the one with yourself? The darkness before the dawn. Why your struggle means you're about to break through. There is a moment in every great journey when the traveler is tempted to turn back. The road becomes too steep, the night too dark, and doubt begins whispering in the ear. This is the moment when most people give up, when they assume that the struggle is proof that they have lost their way. But what if I told you that the very fact that you are struggling is the greatest proof that you are on the right path? That the doubt, the exhaustion, and the heaviness you feel are not signs of failure, but rather signs that you are on the verge of something extraordinary? Many people assume that spiritual awakening is a peaceful, effortless experience. They imagine enlightenment as a moment of sudden clarity where everything clicks into place in a blissful golden glow. But the truth is much more raw, much more intense. Before the dawn, there is always darkness. Before the breakthrough, there is always resistance. The reason your hardest struggles happen right before your greatest transformation is because your old self is fighting for survival. Your ego, the part of you that is attached to comfort, fears change more than anything else. And so, as you grow, as you step into your higher self, your ego panics. It creates fear, it creates doubt, it tries to convince you to turn back. But this fear is not a warning sign. It is a sign that you are getting close. Think about the most powerful moments of transformation in nature. The moment before a thunderstorm breaks, the air is thick, heavy, charged with energy. The moment before a baby is born is one of the most painful, intense experiences for both the mother and the child. The moment before a star explodes into a supernova is filled with unimaginable pressure. Transformation is never gentle. It is powerful, it is uncomfortable, and it demands everything from you. But it is necessary. Right now, you might feel like you are being tested beyond your limits. You might feel like everything is working against you, like the universe is pushing you to your breaking point. But what if the universe isn't testing you? What if it's preparing you? What if every obstacle is not a punishment but a lesson? What if the struggles are not meant to break you but to shape you into the person you are meant to become? There is something sacred about the moments when we feel like we have nothing left, when we have given everything, when we have fought every battle, and we are left standing at the edge of ourselves, staring into the unknown. It is in these moments that we discover who we truly are. It is in these moments that we realize our strength was never in our ability to control the outside world, but in our ability to surrender to it. The universe is not asking you to fight harder. It is asking you to trust, to let go, to stop resisting the change that is happening within you. But this is the hardest part, isn't it? The letting go. Because to let go means to step into the unknown. It means releasing the versions of ourselves that we have clung to for so long. It means admitting that we are no longer who we used to be, and that we have no idea who we are becoming, and that is terrifying. But think about this. Every great transformation requires a leap into the unknown. A bird does not know it can fly until it steps off the edge. A seed does not know it can become a tree until it breaks open. You are in that moment right now, the edge, the breaking, the unknown. And so I ask you, what if this struggle is not the end, but the beginning? What if everything you are facing right now is not happening to you, but for you? What if this is the moment that changes everything? The illusion of failure, how your greatest struggles are secretly your greatest victories. There is a strange paradox in life that most people never realize until they have walked through their darkest moments. The paradox is this: the moments that feel like the greatest failures, the moments that make you want to give up, the moments that break you down to your very core, those are actually the moments when you are succeeding the most. But because the transformation is happening in ways you cannot yet see, you mistake the process for failure. You assume that just because things are difficult, you must be doing something wrong. But what if you are actually doing everything right? Think about every major breakthrough in human history, whether in science, art, or personal growth. Before the discovery of electricity, there were countless failed experiments. Before great artists created their masterpieces, they destroyed hundreds of imperfect attempts. Before individuals reached enlightenment, they endured years, sometimes lifetimes of suffering and searching. The common thread in all of these journeys is that the breakthrough doesn't come when things are easy. It comes when things feel impossible. It comes when you are at your lowest, when you feel like nothing is working, when you feel like you have lost your way. That is the moment when you are closest to your greatest victory. Right now, you might be facing setbacks that feel unbearable. You might be struggling with relationships that are crumbling, dreams that seem out of reach, or inner battles that feel never-ending. But what if these struggles are not obstacles? What if they are the very things guiding you toward your highest path? What if the relationships falling apart are creating space for deeper, more aligned connections? What if the dreams that seem to be slipping away are making room for even greater possibilities that you haven't yet imagined? What if the inner battles you are fighting are not signs of weakness, but signs that you are finally confronting the parts of yourself that need healing? Most people misunderstand what spiritual tests really are. They assume that tests are about proving strength, about enduring suffering until they are deemed worthy. But real spiritual tests are not about proving anything. They are about revealing the truth. They strip away illusions. They expose the things that no longer serve us. They force us to confront our deepest fears. And when we resist these tests, when we cling to our old ways, that is when the suffering intensifies. The universe is not punishing you. It is trying to wake you up. It is trying to show you that the things you are holding on to are the very things keeping you from evolving. One of the hardest things to accept is that often the things we think we want are not the things that will truly fulfill us. We chase relationships, careers, and identities because we believe they will bring us happiness. But sometimes the universe has to take these things away, not to hurt us, but to redirect us towards something far greater. Imagine a child holding onto a broken toy, crying because they don't want to let it go. But what they don't realize is that their parent is trying to give them something even better. The child only sees the loss, not the greater gift that is coming. We are all like that child at times, clinging to what we know, afraid to trust that something better is on the way. But here's the truth. Nothing real is ever lost. If something is meant for you, it will stay. If it leaves, it was never truly yours. And if something is taken away, it is only because something more aligned is coming. The problem is that most people don't see this until later. They don't realize that what they thought was a failure was actually a course correction. They don't realize that the heartbreak, the job loss, the struggle, they were all part of a greater plan that was leading them to something extraordinary. Right now, you are standing at a crossroads. You can choose to see your struggles as proof that you are failing, or you can choose to see them as proof that you are evolving. You can choose to resist, to hold on, to fight against the change. Or you can choose to surrender, to trust, to allow the old to fall away so that the new can emerge. But here's the hardest question of all. Are you truly ready to let go? Are you ready to release the version of yourself that you have outgrown? Are you ready to step into the unknown, even if it means walking away from everything familiar? Because that is what it takes to pass your hardest spiritual tests. It is not about struggle. It is about surrender. It is about trusting that the universe is not against you, but guiding you towards something greater than you can imagine. If you are feeling lost right now, if you are questioning everything, if you are exhausted from the fight, know this: you are closer than you think. You are not lost. You are being rerouted. You are not failing. You are shedding. You are not breaking. You are transforming. And soon you will see that every tear, every doubt, every sleepless night was not in vain. It was all leading you to the moment where you finally realize who you were meant to be. The final gate, how to surrender and step into your highest self. There comes a moment in every spiritual journey when we face the final gate, the moment where we must make the ultimate decision. Do we step forward into the unknown, or do we turn back to the comfort of what we have always known? Everything in your life has led you to this point. Every hardship, every lesson, every moment of doubt has been preparing you for this choice. The universe can guide you, it can test you, it can strip away everything that no longer serves you, but it cannot make you walk through the final gate. That is something only you can do. Surrender is the key that unlocks this gate, but surrender is the one thing most people fear the most. We have been conditioned to believe that surrender means giving up, that it means weakness, that it means losing control. But true surrender is not about defeat. It is about trust. It is about releasing the illusion of control and allowing yourself to be guided by something greater than your fears, greater than your doubts, greater than the small, limited version of yourself that you have been clinging to. Right now, you are standing at the edge of transformation. You can feel it, can't you? That pull deep within you, that knowing that you are not the same person you once were, and yet something inside of you resists. The mind clings to old stories, old wounds, old identities because they are familiar. Even suffering can become comfortable when we have carried it for too long. But ask yourself this: what are you really holding on to? Is it truly serving you, or is it simply keeping you trapped in a version of yourself that no longer fits? One of the greatest illusions we must break is the idea that we are waiting for something outside of us to save us, to give us clarity, to give us permission, to give us a sign that it is time to step forward. But the truth is, the sign has already come. The fact that you are here, reading these words, feeling this shift within you, that is your sign. The universe has been speaking to you in whispers, in synchronicities, in the quiet knowing that you have outgrown your old life. The only question left is, will you listen? Stepping into your highest self requires courage, but it is not the kind of courage the world teaches us. It is not the loud, forceful courage of fighting against something. It is the quiet, unwavering courage of stepping into something new without needing to know exactly where it will lead. It is the courage to trust yourself, to trust the path, to trust that even in the unknown, you are exactly where you are meant to be. This is where most people hesitate. They want guarantees, they want certainty, they want to know that if they take the leap, they will not fall. But every great journey requires a leap of faith. The bird does not know it can fly until it steps off the branch. The caterpillar does not know it is a butterfly until it breaks free from the cocoon. And you will not know your true power until you stop clinging to the old and finally allow yourself to step into the new. But here is the secret. You are already ready. You have already done the work. The transformation has already begun. The only thing left is the moment of decision, and in that moment, you will feel fear. You will hear the voice of doubt telling you to turn back, to stay where it is safe, to wait just a little longer. But you must recognize this voice for what it is. It is not the voice of truth. It is the voice of the past, the voice of conditioning, the voice of a self that is afraid of its own potential. And you must choose not to listen. When you surrender, when you finally let go of the resistance, something incredible happens. The weight you have been carrying begins to lift. The path that once seemed so unclear suddenly becomes illuminated. Opportunities, people, and experiences that align with your highest self begin to appear effortlessly. This is not magic, it is alignment. When you stop fighting against the flow of your own evolution, you allow yourself to be guided toward everything that was meant for you all along. So here is my final question to you. Are you willing to trust? Are you willing to let go? Are you willing to walk through the final gate and become who you were always meant to be? Because the moment you say yes, not just with your words, but with your actions, with your heart, with your soul, that is the moment everything changes. That is the moment you pass your hardest spiritual test. That is the moment you finally come home to yourself. And when you look back, you will realize that the struggle, the suffering, the doubt, it was never meant to break you. It was meant to prepare you. It was never the end of your journey. It was the beginning of something far greater than you ever imagined. The hardest tests were never there to defeat you. They were there to awaken you. And now you are awake. Now you are free. Now you are ready.